Hi, my name is Hannah Brown, and welcome to the journey of how my conceptualization of teaching English as an additional language has changed. I will be showing how my approach to teaching English changed to bring current linguistic research into the context of the classroom, as inspired by the neurolinguistic approach and other practical strategies. My journey in teaching languages started with discovering linguistics in my first year of university. I took all sorts of classes, including one on the research of second language acquisition in the classroom setting. However, once I entered the education portion of my degree and began learning about teaching languages, then completed my first practicum, I was a little confused. Most of what I had learned about language acquisition seemed to be in a separate world from what I was encountering in education. Then I took my first EAL specialization class and completed my first practicum. Throughout these experiences, I picked up three main points. First, that the use of home language in the classroom can help scaffold understanding. One example of this was that my partner teacher used a clip from a Spanish documentary to introduce a visual journaling exercise in order to scaffold the understanding of a Level 1 English language learner. Second, practical yet simple strategies make all the difference. There are so many strategies that I learned in Spec 1 and during practicum that actually made a huge impact on students' language production, including games, vocabulary anchor charts, sentence prompts, and speaking slowly. And third, by accessing their common underlying proficiency, English language learners will transfer knowledge structures between their home language and English. I felt highly encouraged about teaching English as an additional language, and I had formed relationships with students. Then I had to go back to linguistics for another year. No more education classes and practicums for me. However, during the last year, I had started tutoring an ELL student, and I was constantly looking for new strategies and resources to support this student. Some of the things that I looked into were Languages for All, Scholastic Guided Reading, Pinterest, and Captain Underpants, the novel. So, while I was clinging on to my one current experience of language teaching, I mentally prepared myself and jumped back into the world of linguistics. And to my surprise, my experiences of personal connections to students and the teaching world completely changed the way I approached linguistic research on language acquisition. Everything I analyzed, I approached it with the lens of education, realities of schools and teachers, and the diversity of students. I learned that there are not definite, universal, and specific orders of second language acquisition in English, as there are for L1 acquisition in English with things like Brown's grammatical morphemes. However, common patterns can be found among learners with the same home language, and transfer plays a huge role in second language learning. Since my favorite hobby is learning new languages, this has encouraged me to try to learn even a little bit about the home languages of my students in order to assist them in transferring their academic language skills from their home language to English. Okay, so forward to September 2017, I was finally able to come back to the Faculty of Education with its passionate teachers, small classes, and vibrant student involvement. I was so excited. In Education 535, I gained a new perspective of language teaching and learning that I am excited to bring into my next practicum. 3 key things that changed my perspective were content-based language teaching, where language teaching is naturally embedded in content teaching, using key strategies from our net, such as providing visual support for language aspects of content and setting language goals alongside content goals. More practical strategies! Sentence frames have changed my life. The 9-year-old I tutor is now summarizing sentences in a concise yet detailed manner using academic language, all thanks to the sentence frames I've introduced from this class. And finally, I gained a new perspective on language teaching through the neurolinguistics approach, as seen by Netton and Germain in 2012. By focusing on meaning rather than form through a project-based pedagogy, this approach prioritizes the acquisition of internal grammar, which is one of the key things I encountered in my study of linguistics. Therefore, learning about the neurolinguistics approach allowed me to form deeper connections between linguistics and education. Additionally, the attention to the literacy loops helped me understand how language is actually used in the classroom within this approach. Through the inspiration of content-based language teaching, the neurolinguistics approach, and the practical strategies I learned this semester, I realized that I could actually practically unite what I have learned from linguistic research with the reality of students, schools, and educational frameworks, and implement this in my teaching. Now I am super excited to take what I have learned and put it to use in the classroom. Thanks for watching! And special thanks to Abigail Dewick for help with production.